This is Chris Kelso filling in for Kevin Price, host of The Price of Business. Man, that is an oldie but goodie coming in right there. Right now we have Heather Sholl. Heather, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. For all those first-time listeners, let us know a little bit about who you are and what you do, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I'm Heather Sholl, and I have had a prescription fitness personal training business for almost 19 years now, and we're based in the Houston area, do some online virtual training and run groups and boot camps and all kinds of fun things. My husband and I have had the business together for the last 6 years, and we work with all kinds of people, all kinds of populations. We like to specialize in people that other people won't. So we work with pregnant moms and older adults and children and all kinds of fun things like that. But like all trainers, we do a lot of weight loss as well. So that's kind of the gist of our Houston business.
Well, one of the things I tell everybody, we've seen a very, and you could probably describe this, over the past 19 years, we've really seen a bump up in fitness in general. There's really, the millennials have really taken advantage of living that healthier lifestyle, of wanting to be better fit, eating better, eating healthier. We're seeing that in regards to a lot of stuff on Facebook in regards to pregnant mothers who end up having children and literally go back to their pre-birth weight literally weeks or months afterwards. What is
amazing.
That? Yeah, what is that fitness? How can you sort of describe the fitness trend and where it stands today?
Well, this is a great subject because I think it's a combination of the obvious ongoing scientific research that has always been there, and then as well, the information age. I mean, what we are able to learn and gain online and from other, sources we never could is infinite. And I think that has led to all kinds of niche trends, the CrossFit, that's for the really aggressive, go-get-'em kind of cultish thing, and then all the way down to something like curves, which is very basic and no real weights to it. And then just people doing it on their own from home, which is kind of where we've grown our businesses. Some people, that traditional gym business is much smaller than it once was. Those giant box gyms, the old Venice Beach Muscle, Gold's Gym. It's not just for, the meatheads anymore. Like you said, it's everywhere. It's everything. We're so much more aware of not just the demands that are, daily life and balance and exercise, but nutrition as well. And I think we have all these trends in nutrition. And I think, to your point, people are interested. People are interested in their own health, and millennials tend to not take the traditional approach to much of anything. So I think there's just a lot more out there for all those inquiring minds, which is wonderful. Our job, we've become more of filters for all that information, kind of an expert in our field, just being in it so long and watching so many trends go by.
Nice. And that was one of my questions, because you hear, P90X, on the home side of things. And then you see, obviously, the big boxes out there. And then you see curves. And then you hear about yoga. And you hear about, all these different things out there. And that was my question is, how do you filter it all? How do you filter it all down to an individual to say, this is for me?
What this is, I love that you asked this because it's such a great question. And there is so much out there, and I'm sort of this boring, straightforward, scientific girl when it comes right down to it. It all works if you do it. Therefore, the answer to the question of what works for you is what will you do? What will you actually enjoy? Because I think in the past there was this sort of ancient approach that you had to do it a certain way, and that was go to the gym and lift weights and lift it this many times with this many repetitions, and you need to eat this many times a day. And even, not everybody agreed on that. But I think the bottom line is if you will do it, then you found your thing, what your jam, like we talked about. That's jam, if you hate running, then, heaven forbid, don't go run. That's not going to get you to your goal, not happily anyway. But I think, my job really has become to filter a lot of that information. I mean, these days, I think a lot of people in the healthcare industry experience that. A lot of our people diagnose themselves and try to teach themselves as much as they can. And our job is to help guide people into what works best for them. And that can be a lot of different things. But when it comes down to it, it's what you enjoy, I think, is what is important.
And how much or how important is what you eat in proportion to your health and fitness?
Well, when we talk about weight loss, I tell people it's 80% of what you're trying to do is with managing your weight is going to come from nutrition. But really, it's a striking a balance of all of those, or both of those two things, in addition to stress and sleep, are the other two major ones. But everything in moderation when it comes to food. I think people tend to think that, because I look fit, I must eat perfectly, and that's not the truth. I stick to the calories I'm supposed to every day, but it doesn't mean that, I don't enjoy queso and cupcakes and everything else. It's just a matter of, knowing when to say when. But there's a doctor that I used to always work with that said that he needs a T-shirt that just said, "It's the calories, dang it." And that was it, because that's about what it boils down to. But it is a big part of it. It's a big part of how you feel,
right,
as well as how you look.
Well, I stick to the calories as well. I know donuts and ice cream and...
Right. Well, I'm telling you, you stick it all the calories. But what I tell people is you could eat Cheetos all day or you can eat salad all day. If you stick to your calories, it'll keep you at the weight you want to be, but that's just not very many Cheetos.
Right. I would absolutely agree there.
Yes. Somewhere in the middle there. Maybe Cheetos on your salad. I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be a healthy balance. And then,
exactly.
and then, what are some of the trends workout wise right now? I mean, anything that we're missing? Obviously, there's so many things out there. There's so many things you hear. You mentioned CrossFit, being one of those. But individuals sometimes sit there and go, as you mentioned, I'm not a runner. I've got bad knees. I can't do CrossFit because I got bad arms or I got a bad back. I can't do this because I've got a bad that. It sounds like we go to you, and what you'll do, you'll actually tailor a program that'll fit. And as you mentioned, I think it was very good what you pointed out is, whatever you're going to do is what you need to be put on, not necessarily what you're not going to do, because if you're not going to do it, doesn't have any basis.
Exactly. Well, and that's the exact point. And I think one of the other things that has exploded in our industry that's been just such a helpful tool for all of us as well as our clients is things like the Fitbit, the iPhone apps, the heart rate monitors, all these things used to be these overly scientific things found for, high-level elite athletes. And now they're available to everybody. And if it really does boil just down to the calories, then you pay attention to what you eat, learn about the calorie intake. But as far as exercise goes, just make sure you're burning the calories. And that's what a lot of those tools will help you with, whether it's taking a certain number of steps in a day, things like that. And then hiring a trainer really does help. It's not a lifetime commitment if you don't want it to be. A lot of the times it's just hiring a health advisor, somebody who is interested in helping you meet your personal goals. And I know not all trainers take that approach. But that's how we like to handle it, is let's work with, if necessary, your doctors, your nurses, your other healthcare providers, if you have, any sort of special needs with that. But otherwise, let's work with a dietitian and kind of help you figure out what works for you. And if that's CrossFit, well, I probably won't see you there, but I'll send you in that direction. Yoga, Pilates. There's so many different things, and Orange Theory Fitness is a big one now that I think is a wonderful option. But it is about what works for you. And for me as a trainer, I think one of the things that I really like to encourage my clients is to try something different. Try to find yourself and a life balance in exercise, because it is so beneficial, and outgrow this desire to be outside and play at some point from childhood to adulthood. And I think what most of my clients realize is when they really start doing it again, they forget how much they enjoy moving and using their body and sleeping well. You forget if you use your body a lot more, you sleep a lot better.
Well, I would agree there. What's funny is I'll tell you, you mentioned this health app. I just got back from Disney World last week, and one of the things that my health app, I average about like half a mile in walking steps, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, for the week I was in Disney World every day, I was averaging like 5 miles worth of walking steps. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So it is neat, though. You can go back and sort of see what that dynamic looked like and how much you walked. And, there's a lot of tools and technologies, but I tell everybody it still doesn't replace the fact that going to you, getting things done correctly, having a motivator there is still going to be, to me, one of the best things you can absolutely do, Heather. And with that being said, we are going to be coming up against a break. So let us know how we can reach you if you don't mind.
Absolutely. You can find us online at prescriptionfitnessonline.com. You can call us at 713-962-5874 and take a look at what we're doing there. Give us a call, or you can email me at heathersholl@yahoo.com.
That is Heather Sholl. Again, prescriptionfitnessonline.com, 713-962-5874. Heather, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
This is Chris Kelso going on a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.